teachers who are bringing your sixth graders out there have this enormous and incredible opportunity to do something with your kids, which is not only incredibly meaningful and memorable, it also delivers the instruction that you want to get across back at school in a real hands-on way. So the reasoning for Outdoor Ed is to deliver curriculum in ways that can't be delivered back home inside the four walls of the classroom or inside your 45-minute structured period that you have there. So however you want to best do that as an education professional is up to you. This workshop, by the end of this workshop, you will have a pretty good idea of how I normally do a stream study with sixth grade kids who are here. You might want to do it a totally different way, and that's okay. So we are going to be looking at the living things in this habitat and establishing if an ecosystem is there. That's a good way to put it. We also have another very important job. How can we've got to determine if this particular local ecosystem, the stream, is a healthy one. So, if we know that this is an ecosystem we're going to explore, what are some of the ways we can tell if this ecosystem, the stream, is actually healthy or not? I like to say, we're going to be, kids, we didn't just look for critters in the stream, we conducted a biotic index. Biotic index. So biotic, you covered. What does biotic mean? Living things there. An index just means listing. We're going to list the living things that we find down the stream. And just like Sarah said, that is one way we can tell if this is going to be a healthy stream or not. What are some other things we can look at to determine health for this stream? Dissolved oxygen. What's going to be better, more or less? Yeah, more. Dissolved oxygen. So that's another thing we can look at very specifically in the stream. And we're going to abbreviate that D. Oh, the pH scale tells us how acidic or how basic something is. Does anybody know the whole range, the scale? Wait, tell me your name again.
Caitlin.
Caitlin. Oh, that's easy. Caitlin. Okay.
I know 7's the middle, that's neutral, and if 1 is acidic, and then up to 14 is basic.
You got it. 7 is neutral. We're going to actually go to 0 and 14.
Oh.
So, we've got a range of pH between 0 and 14. Anything that's 0 on a pH scale is a super, 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 super strong acid. If it dumped on your hand, it'd melt or burn your hand away. That would be not good. Anything that's 14 on a pH scale is a super, super, super strong base, sometimes called an alkaline. Drop it on your hand, it's going to burn it away. Also not good. Right smack dab in the middle of that pH scale is what number, Jacqueline? Caitlin.
7.
7, yeah. So 7 is neither acidic or basic. It is what we call neutral. Nitrates. We could look at nitrates. What else was the second thing you said?
Algae growth.
Algae. What is algae?
Algae is a lifey, planty kind of thing that lives in the water. Is that our sixth grade answer?
A lifey, planty could. Can we stick with plants?
Sure.
Plants. How about we look for the amounts of plants? We can look for the amount of plants, amounts and types and diversity of plants. Now, it's kind of like our biotic index. So today, we're going to be doing a macroinvertebrate biotic index. And we'll also look at some plants, but we're going to look at plants in 2 different places. Where would it be important for plants to be when we think of the stream as an ecosystem?
Stream bed.
Stream bed. Yes, the stream bottom. So we can do a stream bottom survey. Look at the stuff on the bottom of the stream, see if it'd be a good place for things to grow and live. Where else can we look for plants?
Right outside the edge of the stream, we're using our words again, but just right outside of the stream.
You know there's a word for that, though,
I know
don't
there's
you?
a word,
Have you
and
found
that's
our
like
word wall?
the best, and I didn't think to look for it.
We could call that stream bank.
There you go.
And kids, if you want to impress your parents when you go home, you don't have to use the word stream bank. You can go riparian buffer. Mom, Dad, we checked out the riparian buffer. And that's the land from the stream edge all the way into the woods around. Riparian buffer. I'm running out. So this will give us a pretty good look at what we're dealing with, stream health-wise. Biotic index, dissolved oxygen, pH, nitrates, plants. Anything else we can look at to just sort of record what's going on in this stream today? We can record the current weather conditions and the previous weather conditions. And when we look at that stream bottom, we can look at the sediment load on the bottom. What's sediment? Kids, are you ready for your other big vocabulary word to impress your folks when you go home? We're going to call it turbidity. Turbidity. We can look at how cloudy or clear the water is and assess the turbidity. $1 million word right there. That last word is what?
Erosion.
Erosion. So we can look for signs of erosion on our stream bank. Anything else that we can record just to gather data about what's going on in that stream right now? Gosh, it's getting warm in here. This is a simple one for 6th graders. It's one of the first ones that come. We can also record the temperature, and that'll give us a pretty good idea of how things look just right now. What we're going to get is, with all this information, even if we collect every single bit of it that we got, it's still only going to give us a snapshot for what's going on right now today. And if we also record the temperature and the weather conditions that are right now, it gives us an idea of, well, what that snapshot should look like. Could be entirely different tomorrow, so we don't know. Everybody ready to do all this down at the stream, gather all that information? We are going to split you up into small groups. Dan, I'm going to ask you to join this table right over here, and you're going to be working with this table group. Here's one table group, there's another table group. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each group is going to pick up one uber cool bucket. Each group is going to pick up one little net. Each group is going to pick up one clipboard, which I think we'll put right over here. And all those we'll be using down at our stream side. Ooh, along with the clipboard, we're going to ask you to pick up a writing utensil. And our writing utensils of choice will be these grease pencils, which we'll write on our plastic covered data sheets. Now, once your group is called to pick up that stuff, you're going to go outside that door. And here's where you have the option to put on boots. Out there, you probably noticed them. We have a lot of little rubber boots out there. They're labeled in men's sizes, and we have no half sizes. So if you're half size, bump up to the next whole number. And men's sizes means if you're wearing a women's size 6, subtract 2 to get your equivalent men's. Sarah mentioned macrobenthic invertebrates. Is that the whole phrase that you used? Macro means not micro. It's big enough that we can see them without microscopes. They're still going to be pretty small. Benthic. Does anybody know what benthic means? Sarah? Yes!
On the bottom.
Yeah, on the bottom. So we're going to be looking at things that live on the stream bottom. If you're going in water deeper than your ankles, you're going to be wasting your time. A, you're not going to find the stuff that we're going to be looking to find. But B, you're also going to be making it harder for everybody else to do what they need to do. What's going to happen if we needlessly and senselessly walk around the stream bottom?
It's going to mix up all the sediment in water.
We're going to mix up all that sediment, which is basically just particles floating in the water, and it's going to make us harder to do our job. If you do decide to get on boots, it doesn't mean that you can walk like Godzilla through Tokyo, walking and just destroy that stream bottom. We're here to explore this habitat. We're not here to destroy it, to investigate, to look at it, but to leave it hopefully intact. There's another thing. I tell a lot of kids, the kids will be in the stream and they'll say, Mr. Granger, I have holes in my boots. And I'll say, yeah, 2 at the top. You're in water up to your waist. What do you want me to do about that? One table at a time to pick up the 3 things I mentioned in here, clipboard, bucket, and net, and then move outside to start getting boots on. Outside, once you got your boots on, there's tall nets hanging to the left of the boot rack. Each group also gets one big tall net. I'm going to ask that you place your shoes, if you get on boots, on the pegs that the boots came from. So when we come back, you know exactly where to put those boots back. If you have a net like this, I want you to carry it like this with the net side up. Do not carry it with the net side down or drag it along the ground, because if you do, it's going to tear these nets and then they'll be useless for the next person who wants to use them. So